some beef with someone I don't wanna know, unless they happen to be at this show. I don't know who fucked up or who stole all your shit, but if they're next to you right now, just run up and hit them. Fuck that crazy bitch, man, I wish she had died. But my best friend's prevented her from suicide. I don't know what's fucked up or what's wrong that I did. You're a grown-up adult getting mad at a kid, so it fell down the hatch and bring it. Wow, if you got some beef with me, fight me right now.
Yo. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Garret Schuelke podcast. I am your host, your overlord, Garret Schuelke, and we are airing today at the beautiful East Grand Rapids branch of the Kent County Library, where I normally come to write. I've written all my greatest novels here, and I've put together shows and all that stuff. And today, our guest is the host of B-Movie Euphoria, which takes place the last Sunday of every month. And I'm glad to have him here. Glad you could make it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry I was a little late, but
Yeah.
thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Yep. Like your shirt says, I am a happy camper. Indeed, I am a happy camper. Everyone, welcome Nick Villaire.
Woo!
Nick, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, no problem. Actually, so this shirt, it's from my friend Alex, and I wore it at the B-Movie Euphoria screening of The Burning. Because I also had a whistle, too, so I was pretending I was a camp counselor. Anyway, I was trying to make it a little fun.
Yeah, that shirt, is it, like, done by the creator of that?
Of Family Circus?
Yeah, or is it done ironically?
I don't know. It might be like, you remember those shirts of Bugs Bunny and Daffy, but they had like backwards pants, and they were both like back to back.
Those ones, yeah. or like the ones where they show him as like a gangster, like "Forgive me, Father, for I must do it again" or something.
Like yes, exactly those.
Women know how to handle a real G or something.
Yeah, exactly.
As Mickey Mouse with a gack.
Yeah, but we all know that Bugs Bunny was. I don't know. He was multifaceted. I think he liked both men and women, at least according to Looney Tunes.
Oh yeah, he's a gender revolutionary.
He wasn't a gangster. He was like a fun. He was like a Loki character. He could like jump into the ground and then come up in Albuquerque or whatever. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
He probably could be a gangster. He's got the mind for it and, the accent. Yeah, see? I'm going to open it up now, see? Those were the good ones with Rocky or something.
Rocky? Oh,
the gangsters ones.
Yeah, the ones where they were going to kill him, but...
Yeah, he just tricks them like, no, your real enemy's behind this door. He puts him out and he's like on the 10th floor.
Yeah.
I did it, Rocky. I stopped the gangster.
And then there were like two dogs that acted just like those gangsters too, right? And was like, hey, George. Hey, George.
Yeah, George, not Rocky. I think literary reference, I think they took it off John Steinbeck's of Mice and Men.
Yes, that's what it was.
I
want to touch the rabbits.
Yeah, it's funny how they made a comedy out of a tragic story of a friend who murders his special needs friend with a shot to the back of the head.
Well, that's the thing. Some of the greatest comedy comes out of tragedy.
Yeah,
like
they read that. And it's like, this will make a perfect Bugs Bunny adaptation. All right, Nick, how's it going, dude?
Really good. Things happen in life, but I'm feeling really good right now because there's a lot of things happening for B-Movie Euphoria, and I'm a really lazy individual, but the one thing that I care about is movies and watching movies with people.
And gosh darn it, let's get right into this conversation. Nick, What is B-Movie Euphoria?
Okay, so B-Movie Euphoria actually started as Bad Movie Euphoria because at the time, it was around like 2012, 2013, I was married, and it wasn't going very well. And so I kind of got lost in my favorite thing, which is B movies, bad movies, exploitation movies, kung fu. I got lost in these things, and I started writing reviews I made a page on Facebook. I made a web page, which no longer exists, and I just started writing reviews about everything that I loved. And at the time, it was kind of bad movies like The Room or Miami Connection or, what's another? Hot Ticket to Hawaii. That is so special.
Honestly, I have heard The Room, but I've not heard those two.
So basically, it was Bad Movie Euphoria. And I had a few friends that would help me write, or they would write their own articles. And I didn't even do videos at that point. Now I have like 50 videos on YouTube. But at the time, it was just bad movies. And at one point, I think it was in 2013, I went to a B-movie celebration in Indianapolis. And I drove all the way out there. And also, weirdly unrelated, Robert Englund was also there, but he was just there signing autographs. Completely unrelated to the B-movie celebration. But I was really excited. And it was basically one of the first conventions I'd ever been to. And it wasn't really a convention. It was basically just 4 or 5 directors. And these are like B-movie directors like Jim Wynorski, who did Chopping Mall. And the director of Scalps, the director of Witchboard, Kevin Tenney was also there. These, like, to me, gods. And I was so excited. And nobody went. It was me and my friend that I went with, Josh, and maybe 2 other people in the theaters. And there was nobody else there. And it was still a great time because I had a really good time. But everyone was over getting their fucking VHS of Nightmare on Elm Street signed over there. And nobody cared about these B movies. And so I watched a bunch of movies there. I talked to Jim Wynorski. I talked to Kevin Tenney, all these guys, and they were telling me stuff. And they were like, "Oh, so what do you have a web page or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, Bad Movie Euphoria." And I think it was Jim Wynorski that said, "Well, these aren't bad movies. These are good movies." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying, like, to the general public, they're, considered bad because they don't follow the rules of cinema."
Sir, define bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I felt like I had offended them by saying, like, I like bad movies, and here I am at your film. So when I got back home, I was like, you know what? Bad movies kind of, like, pigeonholes me. Because then I'm only reviewing and watching movies that like The Room or like that people can generally consider bad. And that's not the only thing that I like. And so I changed it to B-Movie Euphoria. I started doing a lot more like wide-ranging films. And then I get this message out of the blue from a friend of a friend named Ryan Capoletti. And he said, "Hey, would you like to host a movie night in the basement of my pizza place?" And I was like, yes! I was so excited because just watching movies with people is one of the greatest joys of my life. Like, I'm kind of an introvert. I'm not great at parties, but man, if you watch a movie with me, you'll have a good time.
Introverts, the perfect people to have on podcasts.
Exactly. That's 100% correct. That's why I love podcasts so much. So he said, "Hey man, I really like your reviews and stuff. I want you to host a movie night." And I was like, hell yes. And so the plan was December 2013, Friday the 13th. We showed Friday the 13th 3D.
Oof.
So I had the DVD. It came with one pair of 3D glasses. I decided to make 20 more. So I went to Goodwill and I bought a bunch of sunglasses for cheap, like in the dollar bin.
Yeah.
I popped out the lenses, and then I made with like clear plastic film. I made a blue and a red. So I made like 20 of those, and they were all different. Like some of them were like wraparound, some of them were like big old people glasses. And so I handed them out to everyone. And then I was working at Gun Lake Casino at the time. Probably shouldn't say that, but one of my coworkers had a life-size standee of Jason Voorhees. So I borrowed that, put it right next to the screen, and so that was the first night, and it was great. The glasses didn't work perfectly, but everyone was howling. Everyone was like off their seat. Everyone was like, "Oh my God!" And I realized this is what I want.
Oh my God, they're pointing something close to the camera.
Oh my God, what's coming at me? Oh God.
Dude, yeah. Last weekend when I was in Traverse City again, I watched. They had like a Jackass marathon to celebrate Jackass Forever.
Yeah.
And of course they showed Jackass 3, okay, 3D. And I'm like, God, I remember that early 2000 3D craze, how bad it was.
Oh yeah, like God, everything was in 3D. It was like, oh God, Piranha 3 Double D. That was the thing.
Yeah, like they did like a new adaptation of The Great Gatsby, starring
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, that was in 3D.
Why?
I don't know.
See, that's silly to me, because to me, like Friday the 13th 3D, that's a perfect 3D movie.
Yeah.
Because stuff is pointing in your face.
Yeah, or Jackass 3D, it was like, oh look, Chris Pontius is shooting a dildo at the fucking...
Yes, the whole point of 3D is things should be flying at you. Like you should... But then they just started doing it because, like, I don't know.
It's a craze.
Yeah. Oh, My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Oh yeah, that was actually good.
That was a good one. Oh, like the pickaxe right in there.
God, before my hometown's theaters went under, I took my folks to see a 3D movie. I cannot remember what it was, but it was like, so yeah, these two boomers, they're like, oh, we put on the glasses, I gotta wear it the whole time.
I mean,
and of course, I got glasses, so I have to put glasses over my glasses to see, or else I'd be nearsighted. I remember the movie. It stunk, though.
Yeah, I didn't understand that when it was just like used to advance the movie. I'm like, you know what? If there aren't things flying at me, don't do it. Yeah. The perfect movie I saw in 3D. Do you remember when the Alamo Drafthouse was in Kalamazoo?
Yeah, I do.
I loved that place so much.
I only went there once. I moved here in 2013.
Oh wow, that's insane. That's when B-Movie Euphoria started.
Yeah, funny how that works, huh? Sounds like destiny.
So, but Alamo Drafthouse, I went there like all the time. I went there to see Reservoir Dogs, and Michael Madsen showed up, and then they named a theater after him, and then they closed the theater.
Nice.
I wonder what he thinks about that. He probably doesn't. Oh yeah, sorry, off topic. But the first night was great. After that night, Ryan was like, "Hey, you want to do this once a week?" And then for the next like 3 years, I did it once a week, every week, a movie night.
Oh, once a week
in the basement of Cult Pizza, once a week. So I had to come up with a new movie every week.
Is Cold Pizza still around?
No, it is gone.
I remember when I first moved here hearing about it, but I never got a chance to go there.
Yeah, Ryan is this incredible cook. Like he is a vegan, but he knows how to. Well, there's good vegan food. I just don't eat it, but he knows how to. He knows how. He's like a magician, He knows how to make food just taste good, But so it was in the basement of Cult Pizza, and big screen, a dirty couch, some chairs from the restaurant next door. But every time I'd show up, nothing would be set up. So it would be this mad dash for me, cleaning up all the beer cans from the punk show that they had down there like 2 nights ago, moving the couch so it was like, people would be comfortable, finding chairs everywhere. That was me, just like this mad dash trying to get everything together. But I didn't care because I knew in like 20 minutes I'd be watching a movie with all these people that I didn't know, and I'd be going up to them and being like, "What'd you think? What'd you think? Did you like it? What'd you think?" And so I can't even list how many movies we showed, but it was a lot. And then eventually, Cult Pizza had to close. And Ryan was like, "Hey, man, so we're going to stop showing films here, obviously, because we're closing. But I'd like you to start showing films at my new music venue, the Firehouse." And the Firehouse was this place on Hall Street that used to be a biker hangout and also used to be a firehouse at one point. But it was like up some stairs, and it was just this huge open space. We got the projector up there and everything. So I just showed more movies. That was another couple of years there. Oh man. So it's been like years of, changing location. I went there. There's really been like only 1 year where I wasn't hosting movies. There's only one.
Let me take a guess. It's hard. Was it 2020?
No.
Oh.
There was still one or two screenings in 2020.
Really?
Yeah.
You did during the height of the plague.
Well, no, I did. There were a couple screenings. There was one like January, February, but then
yeah,
nothing. So still, I got to do a couple that year.
Okay.
But different things happened. Like, I moved out of Grand Rapids for like a year or two. I moved to Zealand, and so I didn't really have a place to show movies anymore because the Firehouse closed down as well. And there was kind of a thing, too, during the Firehouse run where people were coming, but they weren't paying attention to the movie, and they were just talking.
Oh, lame.
And it was upsetting to me, and so I got really it got me down because I was like, dude, like, this is a free thing. You just come and you watch a movie. Like, that's it. Why would you want to come to that and talk? I mean, I love talking too, but it's a movie. Watch the movie. So I kind of gave up for a year, and I lived out in Zealand. And then...
Wait, Zealand as in Zealand, Michigan?
Yeah, not...
Okay, I was saying not New Zealand.
Not with the hobbits. I wish. Anyway.
By the way, folks, this episode is brought to you by Smart Water. Usually in Kalamazoo, we get Smart Water from Drake's Party Store, but since we're here in Grand Rapids, we got it from the Wealthy Markets.
Ooh, that's a good place.
Yeah, so
quality products there.
Very quality products. Thank you for the Wealthy Market for sponsoring, air quotes, this podcast.
Well, it's definitely sponsoring my throat right now, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm always saying Drake's Party Store is going to sue me for pretending that they're actually sponsoring me. So, get another place with a fake claim.
They should be happy. They're getting free advertising. That's the thing.
Drake's Party, Wealthy Market, which I live less than 5-minute walk away from, where I get Smart Water and Boone's Farm. Okay, so started in 2013, so this thing's been going on for nearly a decade.
Yeah, by next year it's going to be 10 years. On and not even on and off, because really it was just that 1 year. And then when I came back...
Count it anyway.
Yeah, we'll just say that year didn't happen, And even during that year, my friends still... there were still movie screenings, but they weren't really attended because we didn't have a venue where people could go, really. We tried it at... in Muskegon, we tried it at the Harbor Cinema, which is now closed down.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So my friend...
Another place I've been wanting to go to for some time, and alas, it'll never happen.
It's an awesome theater. So my buddy and also partner on B-Movie Euphoria, I have a lot of... Well, so there's Alex Bernhardt, who's a big part of B-Movie Euphoria, because he started going during the Cult Pizza days, and immediately we just clicked. Like, he knew more about weird movies than I did, and I was just like, dude, I need you to be a part of this because I am running out of movies to pick. And he was more than up to the task. So Alex Bernhardt's a big part of this. He kept the movie nights going. He worked at Harbor Cinema, so after the movies stopped playing there, we would have a movie night there at like 11 o'clock. And so that was a thing. We had one at Raven's Crest, which is like a gaming place in Muskegon, but that just had like a little TV in the room, and like maybe 3 of us went. There was a porn B-movie night, which I didn't go to because I couldn't make it.
Did that get performed at the Odyssey Adult Theater?
It was in my friend James Kozakowicz is also a part of B-Movie Euphoria. It was in his garage.
Oh, okay.
They showed Hot and Saucy Pizza Girls, which I still have not seen, but I've heard good things.
I can't imagine what it's about.
It's about pizza and sex, I think, basically. Yeah.
So it's like the show Two Girls in a Pizza Place?
Yeah. God, I thought I was the only one that remembered that.
I can't believe I remember that shit.
Wasn't that Ryan Reynolds?
No, it's a TV show.
No, I know, but he was in it.
Was he?
I think he was one of the stars of it.
Oh, I honestly didn't know. I only seen like 2 episodes.
I swear.
I just think it's a shitty show, and then they try to make it more serious by dropping the pizza place part.
Oh, yeah. 2 guys, a girl. Okay, yeah, great.
Yeah.
A pizza place. Now you have a setting. Now, madcap things.
Drop the pizza place and make it like that show This Is Us.
Is that what they did?
I think so.
Wow. They're like, okay, we're getting away from the pizza place. Let's get into our emotions now. This is the point.
All right.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so finally I got back to GR. And then, that's what happened. It's always people contacting me and saying, hey, you want to do this thing? Because I'm not good at talking to people, and I'm not good at setting anything up. So Devin Cunningham, who was a big part of the original B-Movie Euphoria thing, he worked at Cult Pizza. He now works at Speciation Artisan Ales, or Speciation Cellars, one of those two. He works there, and out of the blue, he messaged me and was like, hey, so we're thinking of doing a movie night once a month. Would you be interested? And at the time, I hadn't done a movie night in a while, and I was like, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. That, exactly. I was so happy. I was over the moon. I had this huge collection of Blu-rays that I had just purchased, and then the Speciation years started, and that was wonderful. It was crazy because we had a great big screen, and it was in this room with,
Oh yeah, I know. And that's why we're here, in fact, because I attended my first one last month.
That was your first one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you were showing the 90s smash hit Livewire.
Yes.
And I won a prize, which was... just tell me what the prize was.
Okay, so in this new iteration of B-Movie Euphoria, I realized I kind of want to give away prizes. I love giving things. It's the spirit of giving, right? It makes you feel good inside. But anyway, so for this movie, Livewire, during the week before the showing, I went to Little Caesars to get some pizza. And while I was there, I look over, and in the beverage section, there's a Mountain Dew, and it says Livewire on it. And I was like, holy moly, this is kismet. This is destiny. So I bought a couple of those, and I made Pierce Brosnan sponsored live wire. Basically, I cut out a picture of Pierce Brosnan and put it on the bottle of...
Two, in fact.
Yeah, two, sorry, yeah. And I think it's a good prize, you know?
Oh, yeah, I won one of the two. I chose the one with Pierce Brosnan as he's clean cut.
Yes.
It looks like his James Bond years.
Yep.
That's how I got to know him.
Me too. That was my first introduction.
Yeah, and I still have it on my shelf, just sitting there.
Yes. You haven't drank it yet?
No, I actually don't drink pop.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Don't worry, I've drank enough alcohol since I turned 21 to like offset any good effects from not drinking pop throughout my life.
Well, at least, you know, pop is like, it will dissolve your teeth and all that other stuff, but God, I love it. It's so good.
I only would stand for two. I would only stand two pops, Surge and Orbits.
Orbits, I remember.
Remember Orbits?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good shit, huh?
With the little floaty things in there?
Yeah, that didn't choke you out if you drank it.
You know, there was one pop, and I saw it recently on... I didn't finish the show, but the show Loki, the Marvel show.
Yeah.
It was the pop that Owen Wilson's drinking, like, throughout the show. It's called, like, Josta.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, it was, like, some 90s pop that, like, just tanked. Nobody drank it.
Yeah.
But I loved that.
God, I wish they would bring Orbits back. I wish, like, something would happen. Kyle, like, remember Rick and Morty when they brought back Szechuan sauce?
Yeah, that was a weird time.
God, fucking meme sauce bullshit. I hated that part, but I now kind of wish they would do that for Orbits. Like,
Yeah.
Rick goes back in time, like, I gotta get the Orbits, Morty. I gotta drink it up, Morty. I gotta feel those little bits down my throat. And then someone just makes like a hack version of it.
Well, also...
You want your meme soda now.
That's going to be... But it's kind of what I feel like is going to happen in the future because, you know, with the Sonic the Hedgehog thing, how the fans were like, no, I don't like the way that looks. And then
It was bad. The very first one was fucking awful.
It was bad. And the changes they made were pretty great.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I love that movie.
Same here.
I'm not going to lie.
Same here.
Jim Carrey was amazing. Everything about that movie was fun. I had a great time.
Oh God! I asked a fellow Grand Rapids comedian and a movie reviewer, Garret Elzinga, did a podcast with him. We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
We talked about like people that complain about Jim Carrey's performance. We were like, who could possibly have done it that's not Jim Carrey? Mm-hmm. You got any ideas?
Dustin Hoffman, maybe? No.
I personally recommended either Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Gonna get you at Chong do do do.
I'm gonna get you. Do, 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 do.
Or Nicolas Cage.
You know what? Really
get that fucking hedgehog.
Have you seen the trailer for his new film, the Incredible Weight of Talent or something?
No, I haven't.
He plays himself. I can't remember what the title is.
How much longer does he have to like keep accepting parts in order to pay off his bills?
Dude, this is this is the Nick Cage Renaissance, man. We're getting good movies. We got last year we got Prisoner of the Ghostland. We got Mandy. We got Willy's Wonderland to a lesser extent because that was kind of
he voiced Spider-Man Noir and enters into the Spider-Verse.
Exactly. And God, his hairline is incredible. It goes up, it goes down. Like, wow, how does he do that?
Oh, jeez.
Like, you remember in the 90s when every kid could do that thing where their like forehead could go forward and stuff. I can't do that, but that's what Nicolas Cage does for real with his hair. That's what happens.
Yeah. All right. So, so what kind of the second to last question on B-Movie Euphoria specifically. What types of B-movies do you generally show at B-Movie Euphoria?
That's a really good question. So...
Recount exactly within this past decade what types of movies you show.
So, they're all in the realm of basically movies that just didn't hit the mark. You know, movies that are kind of in the periphery of everyone's minds. You know, they're not like the E.T. or Jaws. I know I just said two Steven Spielberg movies, but they're movies like I said, kung fu, exploitation, blaxploitation. Oh wow, just bad. Oh, sci-fi, horror, cheesy action, movies with just terrible acting. Like it could be really anything, but it has to be a film that just wasn't appreciated. You know, it's got to be a movie that just wasn't given the proper love, because that's my main goal in doing these movie nights, is to like almost resurrect these movies for one night, and have all these people come in, and they don't know what they're going to see, but they trust me, you know, for some reason they trust me, because people show up. I kind of give a, very vague description of what it's going to be, and then the movie happens. And that's basically a B-Movie Euphoria night, you know? But, man, I have had so many movie nights. Yeah, sometimes it's hard. Somehow it's very hard to come up with a movie, because I'm like, we could do this one, but we could also do this one. But we could also do that one. But would this one be better?
Have you ever had anyone complain about a movie?
Yes. Ryan, actually. So Ryan would do this thing. If I picked a movie that he didn't like, he would yell from the back. Like, he wouldn't like talk during the movie or anything, but you could always tell that Ryan didn't like the movie, because from the back you'd hear, "What the fuck?" and or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe
Have you ever had anyone that's like doesn't know what B movies are, or they're like particularly old or religious or something like that, be like, I don't know about these films. Can't you like show a Wes Anderson film?
I have had suggestions. Like, I try to talk to everybody, but like I said, I'm introverted, except for when I'm at the movie nights, because I'm kind of in control, you know, and I know what I can say to people. Like, I can be like,
I see where you're going with this.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, that's how I feel about podcasts. I am in control. This is the Garret Schuelke podcast.
Exactly. And
I control this podcast.
Yeah, this is you. This is like...
Exactly.
This is your world.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
But, so I get a lot of suggestions. I usually take them because they're usually good, but it's weird because I've never really had anyone say, "Oh, this movie offended me," or "What the hell's wrong with you?" or anything like that. It's mostly like, "Where did you find this?" Or "What was that about?" Like, what did we just watch? Did we just watch a movie about pizza delivery boys that are also break dancers? And it's like, what?
Yeah, young man, I did like the movie with James Bond saving people from exploding, but have you seen Titanic? I have not seen that in years, and I would just love to see it again.
Oh man, I will never watch Titanic. I'm sorry. That's just not me.
My heart will go on.
My heart will go on. But that's a good point. You bring up a good point. So, all these big movies, like James Cameron, he directed Titanic. His first movie was Piranha 2: The Spawning. It was about like flying fish.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, James Gunn, I think, started with Troma.
Yes, I think he wrote Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
And then I don't know did he direct anything with Troma?
God, I'm not sure. I should know.
I think he wrote for the most part, because I think his first film was like The Specials, which was like it was like a superhero movie, but this was like in the 90s.
Yeah. Hell, even George Lucas, like he started with American Graffiti. And I was like, oh, fuck it, do Star Wars. And then years later, wow, I hate my creation, even though it makes me billions of dollars.
I'm going to change everything that everyone likes about it, but I know what they want.
They want Jar Jar Binks.
But that's another good point, because B-movies, the definition of B-movie is like, the second run film, Like you'd have your A picture, your Gone with the Wind, your Wizard of Oz, and then you'd have like something that nobody really cares about. That would be your B picture. Since then, the word has kind of evolved. So when someone says B-movie, what do you think when someone says B-movie?
Let's see. Low production values, DIY, indie, usually a genre of film like sci-fi or horror.
Exactly.
And bad writing, bad acting, or just outrageous stuff in general.
Yeah.
Too outrageous for like an R rating.
Right. But
it's the kind of stuff I think of.
But yeah, that's exactly it. But that encompasses so much now. Like, I think Livewire is a B movie. I think Big Trouble in Little China is a big movie, or a B movie. It flopped at the box office, but now it's a cult classic. And you could make the argument like, well, that was a studio movie. That was there was money put into that.
Well, and then of course, just standards have changed.
Yes.
Like, have you seen The Suicide Squad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's another podcast I like starring fellow writers Jeff Burke and Lucas Magnum called Make Your Own Damn Podcast, where they review trauma films. And they did a special episode on The Suicide Squad. Because it's James Gunn's connection to trauma, and they're like, yeah, this is basically a trauma film made by a big studio.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too. Like, the thing with B-movies is they kind of became mainstream. But as soon as, Star Wars happened, because the first Star Wars, I would consider that a B-movie. It's cheesy, it's in space, it's ridiculous. But then as it went on, those movies stopped being B-movies and they started being like giant cultural events. And that's not a B-movie anymore. When it reaches that huge zenith, then it's like, it's a part of, our culture. And I consider B-movies more on the fringes and more like sitting outside of what you would normally be like, hey honey, let's go see this movie tonight. They're movies that make you unrelaxed, but also they fill you with this weird brightness, this strangeness, because you just experienced something that no one else, well, maybe one or two people, but no one else experienced it the same way. And I feel when you go to Star Wars The Last Jedi or something, everyone's experiencing it kind of the same way. And everyone's getting kind of the same thing out of it,
Yeah, you still kind of get that today with today's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, I tell you, my favorite Star Wars moment, and I'm not a big Star Wars fan, by the way, and probably one of my all-time favorite movie moments is when the first of the new trilogy came out.
Yeah.
And I was there with two of my coworkers because I think maybe the second night it opened. It got to the part where, spoilers,
I think we're good at this point.
God, there's always someone.
Excuse me.
Whenever people complain about spoilers, even on new things, I just, God, you fucking loser. Anyway, so we were watching when Han Solo finally confronts his son.
Okay.
And, take off the mask, son. And he does. And remembering the previous Star Wars, I was expecting, like Darth Vader, like, just fucked up face, gray skin.
Yep.
Instead, God, what was that character's name again?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. Instead, we get basically a 2000s emo kid.
Yeah.
And
that's his whole character through the movie, too.
I know.
He's smashing things, like he's listening to Avenged Sevenfold.
No, but so when he took it off and we see him with his hair, he's like, his mouth quivering. And we're all like, what the fuck is that?
Why?
And then all of us were just in shock and awe. And then he basically belts out, I hate you, Dad.
Oh man.
We just laughed. It was one of my favorite all-time movie moments.
So, in a way,
I hate you, Dad.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I had a good time at the new Star Wars movies.
I did too, but
I didn't hate them.
I didn't see the last one though.
I did, and it was kind of a bummer, but it was still like an experience movie. But no, pertaining to your question, back to how do I pick them? Another factor in that is I have to think. I have to use my 9 or 8 years of experience at movie nights, and I have to dig deep and be like, it can be this, it can be that, it can be crazy, it can be scary, it can be bloody, it can be funny, but it has to be a crowd pleaser. And when I say crowd pleaser, I mean like, it has to keep going. It's got to like have a nice pace to it. So nobody's like looking at their watch or like, checking their phone or whatever. It has to bounce along and like keep you interested, keep you into it. And obviously crazy things are going to happen, but it's got to like keep you invested. It can be bad. It can be stupid. It can be offensive, I guess. I've shown a couple John Waters movies, and
there you go.
Oh man, when I showed Pink Flamingos,
oh, that fucking ending.
Yeah, wow.
I'm sorry, but shit eating is one of the things that does legitimately make me cringe. I cannot watch it, or I will probably vomit.
I think
even if it's obviously fake.
I think that's part of our genetic makeup, that seeing another human being eat poop makes us sick, because you should not eat poop. That's not something that people should do.
I know. That, shit eating, and paper cuts are like the two things that make me actually cringe whenever I do that.
Yeah, I can feel, like, just the word paper cut, I can feel one on my hand.
Yeah, same here. God, dude, that fucking work.
Oh my God. But yeah, I just have to keep in mind, like, what's going to keep people, like, into it. But at the same time, it's going to be another selfish thing for me, because it has to be a movie that I love, and it has to be a movie that really hit me, because if it hit me, maybe it'll hit somebody else. And so that's kind of how I pick, and
right.
I love doing it, but it gets so frustrating sometimes, because I'll be, like I said, it's like I'm trying to choose from 5 different movies. Last month, it was going to be like 3 different things. And then I went to Disc Traders. You ever been there?
Yep.
So I went to Disc Traders, and you can get like 9 DVDs for like $6 or something. I don't know. But I went through those 2 huge walls. I went through the whole thing. And I got this pile of DVDs, and one of them was Live Wire. And so I took it home, and I was like, all right, and watched the movie. And I was blown away. Like, I was rocked out of my seat. I was like, I messaged my friend Kyle right away. I was like, you need to rent this movie on Amazon, watch it right now, and then we need to talk about it. And so I scrapped any and all ideas that I had, and I was like, this is the movie we're showing. So sometimes it's like, a stroke of inspiration.
Nice.
And that's how it happens. And that's how Livewire happened. But, oh yeah, you liked Livewire.
Yeah, I did, actually.
Okay, good.
No, I hated the movie about a terrorist who makes people explode by liquids.
It's kind of great.
Yeah.
And that last scene where, like, the main bad guy, he drinks this... okay, spoiler alert for Livewire. He drinks the stuff himself to kill everyone.
That's classic, actually.
It's
one of those, like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me moments.
But the whole time throughout the movie, he's, like, such a bad guy, because he's, like, he's trying to get his money, right? He calls somebody up. This is how every single thing goes. He's like, I want my money. They're like, no. Okay. And then that person blows up. And it's like, that's not getting your money either, dude. Like, what?
Yeah, the whole, if I'm going down, take you with me is cliche.
It is.
I can see that, but I did used to think it was bad, but
It is.
then Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. And I was like, you know what? I can see why a bad guy would want to die at the end. You have everything, but then you're about to get caught. Fuck that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, that's another good point, too.
If only Jeffrey Epstein blew himself up. Instead of being killed by the government.
So, but another point, another great thing about B-movies, they are not, for the most part, B-movies are not made by production companies. You know what? They're probably made by sleazy people, right? But they're not made by rich Hollywood types that are using their influence to like...
It's not like your Wes Andersons or your Steven Spielbergs
or your Harvey Weinsteins
or your Woody Allens.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god.
Or
your Roman Polanski.
I was trying to figure out that name to drop it.
And I love Roman Polanski movies. The Ninth Gate.
Yeah,
ooh, that's a good one.
I love Woody Allen, but it's like,
yeah. That's what's sad is like
it's in every medium.
It really is, and it's like that's what was a real bummer to me because like one of my favorite movies is Pulp Fiction. Like I love that movie. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. But it was also produced by the Weinsteins.
I wouldn't do that much. I mean, one of my political heroes, in fact, Michael Moore.
Oh yeah,
he had stuff under Weinstein. But,
yes, you're right.
It's one of those things where like it's such a big umbrella that unless they're like directly hanging out with Harvey, I don't think you can implicate everyone under that umbrella.
But that's the kind of thing is that big Hollywood movies, big movies in general, they're dealing with lots of money, and I think in any industry where they're dealing with shitloads of money, evil shit happens.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the main kind of gross thing of the world is that everybody wants to get rich, right? Everybody wants a huge house. And now I'm going to sound like that one song. Everybody wants to be a big rock star.
Something with the 16 cars. There's only one good Nickelback song. It's called Hero. It's on the Spider-Man soundtrack.
I think I know that song.
They say that a hero can save us.
That was Nickelback?
To be more specific, it's Chad Kroeger.
Oh, okay.
Or how you pronounce his name. The main singer of Nickelback. And a guy from Seether, I think. I don't know. Fuck, I call him Nickelback.
I kind of like that song.
Well, I do too. I love it. It's the only good Nickelback song. It fits perfectly.
I'm kind of upset that it's Chad Kroeger now. I'm a little...
Oh, but heaven won't hear me.
So basically, that's the sad side of movies. Is that
everything is terrible.
Yeah, like people are evil and people will manipulate other people and that's sad.
Yeah.
But the beauty of film is that it's forever. Once you make a movie, it's out there and it belongs to the world, no matter what George Lucas says. It's art that was created and it's out there. And so many people have tried it. So many people have tried writing a movie, directing a movie, and a lot of them are terrible. But a lot of them are in that weird gray area. And that's what I like. I love that gray area.
With that said, George Lucas released the uncensored, unedited Star Wars Christmas special. And,
what? That one?
Yeah.
I thought you were going in a different direction there, but...
Actually, we have to take a commercial break. We will be right back. Hello, I am Roland Emmerich. And you may know me from great movies such as Independence Day, Godzilla. Guys, tries out one. I am Roland Emmerich. You may know me from Godzilla and Independence Day, and more recently, Moonfall. It's about the moon, and it is falling. It's a movie about the moon falling onto Earth. I got an idea for it while playing my grandson's Switch, and I played Majora's Mask, and I was like, that is a good movie idea. And you know what I did while I was writing the screenshot from the screenplay for Moonfall? I listened to the Garret Schuelke podcast. By golly, the Garret Schuelke podcast, where the writer Garret Schuelke talks to his friends, acquaintances, and favorite people, helped me write this modern-day masterpiece about the moon falling onto the Earth. You can listen to it on TuneIn, on iHeartRadio, on Anchor, on the Internet Archives, and yes, even the Spotify's. Enjoy it before it finally gets taken down by Joe Rogan. And check it out too. Check out the official Facebook page and on Twitter at Schuelke Podcast. That's me, Roland Emmerich. Stay tuned for Moonfall 2 and the sequel, Sunfall. Okay, we're back. Thanks to Roland Emmerich for that great endorsement. It was a shock. He just messaged me out of nowhere, telling me how much he loved the podcasts, especially the episodes with Zach Elmblad. He just cannot get enough of Zach.
Roland's a great guy. Clearly, he doing that for you. Building up your podcast like that. That's.
I mean, I remember my second Roland film. Of course, I seen Independence Day when I was a kid.
Of course.
But I also remember seeing Godzilla.
Yeah.
And Matthew Broderick, when he looked at that big pile of fish and said, that's a lot of fish.
Yeah.
And that made me just fall in love with movies right there. Because that's such good writing. That's a lot of fish.
I remember seeing Godzilla in the theater.
Oh, you did?
It was packed. It was
Really?
That was an event movie.
Fuck, dude.
And it was a turd. It was a big old turd. But you know what? I had a good time. I had a good time with that movie. It was stupid. It was bad. It was a ripoff, like the little mini Godzillas that looked like raptors.
Which then turned into like a cartoon, which was actually pretty successful, I heard.
Really?
Yeah, they said the TV show was actually... The cartoon show was actually good.
All right. Was Matthew Broderick in it?
Somewhat. But,
I like him a lot. Just keep him out of Ireland. Okay?
Oh, you're safer around Irish car bombs than you are Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, really. Jesus.
I actually got back in that movie because Angry Video Game Nerd did a Godzilla-thon.
I love
that. And of course, he had to review it, even though he says it's not a real Godzilla film. And he mentioned, too, that, God, there's a music video with Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. They teamed up to make the big single from the Godzilla soundtrack.
I was like, what is this song even about? Come with me. That's basically all he says through the whole song.
Fuck yeah. That's 90s hip-hop right there, dude.
Oh, yeah, and then also Bob Dylan's son did a song on the soundtrack,
Jacob
too.
Dylan.
Yep. He did the Bowie cover. We Could Be Heroes. We could be heroes.
Yeah.
Just for one day.
His son, I love Bob Dylan, my all-time favorite musician, but his son is a vastly better singer.
He doesn't do the he does a little bit of the
yeah, but he has a much lower, more well-paced voice.
Did he do One Headlight?
Yep, that was him.
That was a good one.
Excellent.
I love that one.
All right, we're back, and we talk about B-Movie Euphoria, but let's talk about you, Nick.
Okay, let's do it.
More specifically, how did you get into B-movies?
Wow, that's a long story. So when I was a kid, we had at the family farm, which was in like Barry County, we had like 8 VHS tapes, and I remember them all very specifically because I'd watched them over and over and over again. And they were, I don't remember. I'm not going to list all of them, but the main ones were Ghostbusters, Everything You Want to Know About Sex, but We're Too Afraid to Ask. Cheech and Chong's next movie. Stripes. And a couple more. But I watched these movies over and over again. For some reason, my mom let me. She usually would never let me watch R-rated films. And I think that might be also part of my obsession with movies. Because when I was younger, my mom was very strict, very like, no rated R films, no films involving violence, no films involving, sex or drugs or anything. And so those films were like, mecca to me. Like, I needed those movies. I needed them in my life, but I wasn't allowed to watch them. But then during my teen years, obviously I could watch whatever I want. So I had a lot of friends that would just show me films that they loved. And I think that's really how anyone kind of falls in love with movies, because someone shows you that movie that kind of defines them, or someone shows you that movie that just rocked their brain. Like, I remember watching Man Bites Dog. You ever seen that?
Man Bites Dog. No, I don't think I've seen that one. I just mixed it up with a boy and his dog.
Oh, that's a great movie too.
Oh,
that
yeah,
is a fantastic,
that's insane film.
Don Johnson, super young as the boy, and then Talking Dog.
Talking Dog, and they just wandered the wasteland, sexually assaulting women.
Yeah, that's pretty. And then they were talking about eating one of the women too. That was a weird scene. But anyway,
it's apocalyptic wasteland.
Exactly. But Man Bites Dog, I remember that specifically being one of the movies that made me realize that I wanted to watch weird, fucked up B-movies. It's this French film where a documentary crew, fake obviously, but they follow around a serial killer, and he's just casually killing people, and just doing it for fun, doing it for kicks. And eventually the camera crew, like, he gets into a bind. He's like, hey guys, can you help me? Can you like drag this body? So they kind of get involved inadvertently in his killings, and things just escalate and escalate. And I was like, I didn't realize movies could do this. I didn't realize movies could make me feel like uncomfortable and weird inside, and like, should I be watching this? So from there, we used to have this video store in Grand Rapids called My Video Shop. And I never had a membership because I didn't have a credit card at the time, because I was a teenager. Like, what am I going to do? So
fucking lame. All the cool teenagers have credit cards.
Well, I didn't have one. So I would use my friends' phone numbers, and I would just try and hope that they had an account. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I would just rent the coolest, like, cover that I would see, like the VHS art. And that's where I, like, discovered, like, Dario Argento and Lucio Fulci, and then got into, like, spaghetti westerns. And I'm like I said, I'm an introvert by nature. I'm not good in general, like, talking to people like this. I can talk for hours because...
Oh, that's good to know, because this would have been bad.
Yeah, it would have been very quiet.
I don't know. Let me think over my favorite B-movie. Oh.
But basically, I spend a lot of time alone. And I had real problems, like, making friends, because my family moved around so much. And so making friends for me, like, eventually I just kind of gave up, because I would make friends and then we'd move again. And so movies became this thing where I had a friend. You know, it was there. It was something that I could watch and enjoy, and nothing else mattered, because I had this movie, and I had like a 2-liter and like a bag of chips or something, and then that was it. You know, I didn't need anything else. And that sounds kind of sad, but, you know, that was movies with me. And then eventually, like, I was just like, I should write about it. I want to watch movies with other people too. So, but it's just that. It's just people showing me films and then me being like, oh my God, I want to feel this again. I want to feel this weird emotion, this weird tingling in the back of my neck. I want to feel that again, and I want to find another movie that makes me feel that way. But then you find another weird movie, and it makes you feel a whole different way. And it's always different. It's always something great. And I don't know. Like sometimes I think to myself, like, will I get sick of movies eventually? Am I just gonna just stop and throw my TV out or all my Blu-rays? But it hasn't happened yet, so I'm pretty happy with that, at least.
Yeah. As I was thinking of these things I want to talk to you about, I did kind of rake through my mind to see what was my first B movie.
Yeah.
And I have 3 possibilities because it's kind of like when I'm thinking about what was my first meme.
Yeah.
There's just so many that
it's hard.
Yeah, I know, but so here's my 3. And I don't know if I think it counts as B movies, but it's more like shockumentary.
Yeah.
Mondo films.
Oh yeah, Mondo definitely.
Yeah. Have you heard of a little series called Faces of Death?
Oh yes.
Yes. I got turned on to Faces of Death in my freshman year of high school by a teacher who talked about it.
Wow.
So I just rented all of them out at Family Video and just went ham on them.
Isn't that insane that they were at Family Video? Because I rented them from there too.
Yeah, that and along with America's Most Extreme Videos or some shit.
Yeah, I think
it's basically made by the scumbag who did the Girls Gone Wild series. And it was like Faces of Death, but actually real.
Yeah.
Police shootouts and people committing suicide and that.
Oh yeah, like that guy, the senator guy that did.
Bud Dwyer, yeah.
Hey man, nice shot by the way.
Back off. This could be dangerous.
So it was Faces of Death.
Yeah. So and I also want to say too, besides my freshman year of high school, and I see some significance now being the big political guy that I am. I watched this stuff right before the war in Iraq broke out. We were watching, because this was back in the day with the Bush administration, Saddam has 72 hours to leave. And of course, CNN, Fox had timers on their shit. Because it's a B movie right there. Let's put a fucking timer before we invade a sovereign country.
That's a really good point, though, because as the political climate of our country changed, movies changed with it. The feeling of movies shifts with our climate, and now we're more we're kind of coming into being more actually caring about how people want to be perceived, how people are some people don't care about gender, and some people don't care about this or that, and we're actually accepting it now, and we're being every human being is worthwhile, and if you are this or if you are that, that is okay. That's happening now, and it's gorgeous and it's beautiful.
I know, it's great. Things actually are getting better,
and so the movies are reflecting that too.
Yeah. Even though we might be going to war with Russia soon.
Yeah, that's true. But
anyway, I did find some significance looking back on it. That I watched Faces of Death just as the war with Iraq was amping up.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, speaking of Bud Dwyer.
Oh my God.
Can you explain the meme I just showed?
So Garrett is showing me a picture of Disney's Air Bud Dwyer. It's a picture of looks like a golden retriever, or a golden receiver, as you could say. And he has a Magnum. Is that a 357 Magnum pointing at his face?
Yeah, just like old Bud Dwyer. So they put Air Bud, the beloved Disney series about a dog basketball player. Oh God, I love meme culture.
I mean, I'd watch that movie,
Oh, yeah, totally. Air Bud just fails to win the the whatever prize is in basketball, so he just offs himself on the middle.
Just ends it all.
Anyway, back to my memories.
Yes.
Okay, so the second time was also as a teenager. I was a huge fan of anime and Dragon Ball.
Me too. Well,
I
liked it.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z. I heard they made a live-action Dragon Ball film called Dragon Ball: The Magic Begins. Not Dragon Ball Evolution, not that piece of shit. No,
okay. That's what I thought you were talking about.
This was called... I did see that too, and wow.
The hair.
Yeah. He's a white guy.
Yeah.
Grandpa, I'm so happy to see you.
Oh my God. I'm so glad. That's another thing. Sorry, off topic, but I'm so glad that movies are just not all white guys anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh man.
Wasn't like the last two I heard that did that was it was Avatar: The Last Airbender. They did that with white people.
Yes.
And not Aeon Flux. What's that? Cyberpunk anime?
Oh, Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell. And it featured Scarlett Johansson because she could play any racial identity.
Why wouldn't you get an Asian actor, someone that can do martial arts, someone that can okay, I'm sure Scarlett Johansson's very great. She can, do wire work and all that stuff. Get somebody from the country that it came from.
So anyway, I did not see The Magic Begins. I still have not seen it, but I did do a web search about it, and I came upon a website called badmovies.org.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was all just reviews, rants about bad movies, and I just went through that site every single day reading it.
I remember that. Holy shit.
Yeah, did that. And the final one, I guess this is my real introduction to bad movies. I think it was like my senior year of high school. My second cousin, introduced me to a horror movie called I Drink Your Blood.
Yes!
And I watched this thing, and it blew me the fuck away.
Yes! Oh my God.
And I own it now. It's one of my favorite films.
That's one of my favorite films of all time.
And I love the ending where the police just shoot down the satanic, rabies-filled hippies. And the thing with this movie was, it was originally called Hydrophobia.
Right, yeah.
Because I guess rabies makes you afraid of water.
Yeah.
I can see water making you sick, but being actually afraid of it.
Well, I looked this up because I read that too, but apparently it's more of an animal thing. Animals they fear water when they're, because it's it's a brain.
It destroys your brain.
But that's not one of the main things that happens.
Yeah. They treat it like vampires treat sunlight. Hey, anyway, this movie, they gun down the rabies-filled satanic hippies.
Right.
Then one of the guys says, "It's a shame, really. Hydrophobia is one hell of a disease." Then the movie ends.
That movie. So the poster for
it had two. It was down the middle with "I Drink Your Blood" and "I Eat Your Skin."
That movie,
I've never seen that one.
No, it's terrible. It's a black and white zombie film. It's not very good.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you're not missing out.
I did see this. Of course, I've seen the trailers, and there's another one on there called "American Hippie in Israel."
Oh yeah, I've seen posters for that. I've never seen the movie.
Yeah, I've never seen the movie either, but it basically looks like a ripoff of the dude from The Big Lebowski. He's apparently just driving around Israel, I guess.
But no, I Drink Your Blood is a quintessential B-movie because the poster is iconic. It's two movies that I guess they go together.
Yeah, so I consider that my formal introduction to B-movies. The other two were predecessors.
Yeah, but it's really whatever gets you there.
Yeah, I guess so. And this came on later on in my early 20s, but I did see a movie called Demolition Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I liked it, but it turned out to become the movie that I would owe the most late fees family video on. Mm-hmm. Not because I was rewatching it, but because it fell down my cushions and I forgot about it.
That was me.
Until they called and they're like, "Sir, you owe over $30 in late fees on Demolition Man."
That was me, but with altered states.
Oh, fuck yeah, Altered States.
I forgot that I had it. I forgot it for like months. Months.
Months.
Wow, that was a big
Yeah.
that was a big payday
All
for a
right.
blockbuster.
All right. I forget, maybe we talked about this in the previous section of this podcast, but in your opinion, what makes a good B-movie and a bad B-movie, like an actually bad B-movie?
Okay, I have two examples. I'm going to start with a bad B movie
All right.
because sometimes I do this. Sometimes I'll show a movie at B movie night that I haven't seen, that people have told me is good, and that I'm just taking a chance on. And it doesn't happen much anymore, and it's because of one movie. It's because of a movie called Stone. So
What's it about?
So, looking up this movie, reading about it, I was like, this is going to be great. So it's a biker movie starring the villain from the very first and Mad Max Fury Road. It's starring in Mad Max. His name was Toe Cutter, I guess.
Toe Cutter.
But then in the new one, he plays Immortan Joe in Mad Max Fury Road, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's a great film.
That movie rocked my world. But so Stone is this film about a biker gang in Australia, and I was like, oh, this sounds good. It was a very vague description, and I showed it at a movie night, and it was just boring. It was just nothing was happening. Like, there were too many conversations, too many scenes of just dialogue just that went nowhere.
Oh, God.
And I was melting in my seat because I was like, oh my God, I could feel the room just dying, like the mood in the room just kind of like, ugh. And it was just a slog.
I'm going to commit heresy here, but I did see, what do they call that? Quentin Tarantino and Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah.
Grindhouse. Yeah, Death Proof, I did not like that film.
Really?
For the reason that you just said,
It was
so
boring.
much fucking dialogue, except for the end. Especially the scene where
fair.
it's like, it's circling around them.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Tarantino does that in all his films, but he just took it like way too far on this one.
Well, I think Death Proof was really him in the best sense of the word, masturbating. You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
And I love it because I love car chase movies.
I should probably rewatch it sometime.
Well, no, and I get your point because there was just a lot of kind of expository dialogue that
Yeah,
didn't mean anything in the long run.
It also didn't help either that it was showed after Planet Terror, which was just
Yeah.
balls to the wall action, hot chick with like a machine gun leg.
Yep.
Then you go with this one, they're talking in a circle for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and then there's one crash, and then there's another one, and
Yeah.
it's still great. But the trailers, man, the fake trailers.
Hobo with a shotgun, God.
That movie rocked my world too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So anyway, back to bad B movie. Actually, bad B
yes.
movies.
Okay, so that was a good turning point for me because I was like, no one's into this. No one's having a good time, and I can't let this happen again. Because so basically, to me, a bad B movie is it has all the trappings of a B movie, where it's a genre film. It's bad acting. It's about things that movies aren't usually about, but it can't be boring. If it's boring, it's still a B movie, but it's not worth watching. And that's the biggest sin that a movie can be. The best. Now I'm trying to think of the best example of a good B movie.
Actually, this could lead into another question.
Okay.
What you got? Any favorite titles? Favorite types of genres for B movies, or favorite directors?
Oh, yeah. The first thing that I think of is Paul Bartel. Because Eating Raoul is probably my second favorite movie. Deep Red is one of my favorite movies of all time. Dario Argento. But Eating Raoul, great movie. Paul Bartel was just this on the fringes director that, like, he would also show up in films. Like, I think he was in The Usual Suspects. But he just made weirdo movies and they never became popular, but I love all of them that I've seen anyway. But Eating Raoul was just like Paul Bartel directing and starring in it, and Mary Warrenoff, who is just a B-movie goddess. She was in like Night of the Comet and more recently House of the Devil, which is also a great movie. But where was I going with this?
I was just asking your what makes a good B movie, but I also asked like what are your favorite like titles, genres, directors?
Anything that starts with John Carpenter, you know, any title that starts with that. I was just talking to someone about one of the only John Carpenter movies that doesn't start with John Carpenter's something, and it's Memoirs of an Invisible Man with Chevy Chase. That's a great movie. But it's also terrible. But that's a great title, too, right there.
You ever see Nothing But Trouble?
Of course. That was like cable on repeat.
I can't believe they made that film.
I can't believe that it hasn't been just stricken from the Book of Life, you know.
I can't believe it hasn't gotten a higher score thanks to last podcast on Left Always Standing It.
Yeah, and
they actually said it made the score go down lower. Like, oh, we're sorry, Chevy.
Well, it's a very uneven movie, and there's a lot of like weird tonal shifts throughout the movie too, because like it's always funny, but like, you know, sometimes people are being thrown into like the bone crusher or whatever it's called. And then next, the Digital Underground shows up with Tupac, and they start singing a song.
They went on a trip, but they found nothing but trouble.
But subconsciously, when we go and see a movie, we know that there's something wrong, even though we love it. Like Godzilla, we were talking about Godzilla. You know, the magic of movies is that you're sitting in there and you're mesmerized and you're hypnotized. And so even if it's terrible, you're like, wow, this is so great. But when I was watching Godzilla, I'm like, there's something wrong here. This isn't working. And these lines are terrible. And what?
That's a lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish. Oh man. But no.
I wish this was a video medium so people could see your audible disgust thinking about this.
But you know what? I've seen Godzilla probably more times than I've ever seen Schindler's List or.
Quite a humble brag there.
Or like, I don't know, like, what's a classic movie that everyone's seen?
Casablanca.
Casablanca, amazing movie. I've probably seen Pink Flamingos more than I've seen Casablanca.
There you go.
But yeah.
Fuck you, Bogart.
Yeah. He was amazing.
Yeah, why can't you eat shit on film for Bogart?
Oh, do you know okay, this is off topic, but you know there's a movie called The Man Who Looked Like Bogey? And it's just about a man that looks like Bogart.
Oh.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I found this out because my friend Alex and we go movie searching sometimes. And Alex got this, he saw this ad in Facebook Marketplace where this guy I think the guy had just died recently, and he had this...
Wait, hold on a sec.
Sorry.
We might possibly be right back. And we are back. We got kicked out of the other room because the 2-hour limit. And
that was my fault.
Yeah. Dude, stuff happens.
Yeah.
And, I was kind of hoping that no one would show up, but alas,
people need to study, apparently.
Yeah, apparently this free podcast is not as important as a bunch of little kids in East Grand Rapids studying.
They got to learn about, World War II. And,
it's a shame, really. We're doing important conversations here.
This is what is important. Learning about General Lee
Yeah, more
You know,
important.
You don't need that.
We are having a more important conversation than Joe Rogan could ever have with his Jordan Peterson.
You know what? You know what's really sad? I loved Fear Factor. I thought that was a great show. That was like, I remember just anticipating that show coming out and just being like, oh man, I can't wait to see somebody eat like a testicle or something.
I had a thought the other day. You've seen the show To Catch a Predator, right?
Oh yeah.
Imagine instead of Chris Hansen, it was Joe Rogan coming out.
Oh my god.
Hey, how's it going, man? Oh, you have a seat. Well, here, you sure you don't need some DMT?
I mean, it would be a different show. It definitely would be. I mean, it would. I guess Joe Rogan could probably get more into their side of things or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, come on, man. Let's just talk about it. You know, really, what is an adult?
God.
All right, let's get back and talking about B movies.
Okay.
So, we talk about what makes a good B movie and bad B movie. We got that.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a favorite era or decade of B movies?
Yeah, I have to say, even though I love all movies, but honestly, the decade I was born, 1980s. The 1980s were just this insane time when Reagan was in power and like money was like this thing that everybody wanted, and I guess we all still want it now, but like it was just like the 80s was such an alien world. You know, everybody was wearing bright colors and everybody was like doing cocaine and but yeah, I love 80s movies.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to think of like what were the decades of B movies. And I'm thinking like the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s,
Even
up till now.
Even in the 50s too, because
Oh, really?
I think 1950s was where drive-ins really kind of started happening.
Oh, really?
And that's really where the term was coined, because the B movie would be the second run film, like because drive-ins notoriously always have double features, because like you're not going to drive out to this field in the middle of nowhere just to watch one movie. You got to watch two. You got to get your money's worth. And so I would even say, yeah, even like, so definitely early 60s, like late 50s, early 60s, and then 70s, big time. That's when things got like gritty and like dirty and scummy, and we got to see how gross New York was. And there was just a lot of great 70s films. As far as like kung fu, blaxploitation films, those live in the 70s. That's like the greatest era for that. 80s, I just kind of connect with those movies more because those movies were what was happening around me when I was like growing up. And finding those films, finding like Street Trash and Repo Man and even movies like Paris, Texas. Nobody talks about that movie. Great Harry Dean Stanton and Natasha Kinski movie.
God, Repo Man, along with The Big Lebowski, has like the two greatest TV edits ever.
Yes, I just watched the TV edit for the first time last year.
I gotta rewatch it because I finally got Repo Man on Criterion, and
Yep.
they include that. And I haven't remembered it, but I remember laughing at it when I saw it as a teenager. And of course, The Big Lebowski's TV edit.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, remember the scene where he breaks up the kid's car? He's like,
Yeah.
this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass.
Oh man.
No, they changed it to like, this is what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps. You see what happens, Larry? This is what happens when you meet a stranger. No, when you find a stranger in the Alps.
But you know what? I kind of love TV edits.
I do too.
Because not only are the creative, like, creative swear words, Melon Farmer, stuff like that, but for TV edits, they would take scenes that they had cut out, and add them to the movie to pad out the running time, because they would have to cut out other scenes, like, you know, scenes of violence, scene of like boobs and something, but they would have to make that 2-hour running time with commercials. So they would take scenes, and you said Repo Man, they added 2 or 3 scenes to Repo Man that I had never seen before. And so I was watching this TV edit and, you know, hearing all these like bad swear words that aren't swear words. And then there's this scene with Harry Dean Stanton and Emilio Estevez, and they're at like a bank of payphones. And I had never seen this thing, and it ends with Harry Dean Stanton like shooting the payphones with a gun. And I was like, holy crap, this scene, I've never seen it. And suddenly, that's what I'm saying. So I think the new thing, we're all into nostalgia, but we need to get the TV cuts of all of our favorite movies. Those need to be released. We need those released. I want the TV cuts.
Just make that like a new genre right there. Like,
yes.
Like they just make, like, there's got to be like a culture out there of people who are just into TV cuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are like a lot of people that are into made-for-TV movies.
Yeah.
Which, those are great. But TV edits, maybe that's the new...
The closest I've seen to like a TV edit was they re-released Deadpool 2 as like Once Upon a Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like the PG-13 version of it.
Yeah.
But they went all out. Like they had Ryan Reynolds pretending to read a story to, what's his name? The kid from Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like an adult version.
Mm-hmm. So he was basically Peter Falk.
Yeah, like, so that, like they did that as like a framing technique to justify this PG-13 edit of Deadpool 2.
I read about that.
That's great.
I love that. Oh man, but yeah, the 80s were such a great time, and now we're in this kind of, well, we've been in an 80s renaissance for like years and years, but now we're in a point where there are lots of Blu-rays, maybe not so much anymore because we got streaming.
Wait, before we get into that,
right.
The current era, what is your least favorite B-movie era?
Okay. 90s.
90s.
90s, because the 90s was just a bad time, I think, for movies and music and culture, and there were some good things that happened in the 90s, but I feel
like Livewire.
Yes, like Livewire, but it's kind of rare that I show a movie from the 90s. Like, I've shown movies from the 2000s, 2010s, 80s, 70s, 60s, but 90s is kind of this dead era where everyone was coming down from all the coke they did in the 80s, and so everyone was kind of depressed. And then grunge happened, which I never connected with because I was just like, I don't want to be depressed. Like, I'm already depressed. I don't want to be more depressed. But yeah, there just wasn't a lot of good B movies. It was more because the 90s we started getting more independent films, and we started getting more like on the fringes stuff, which was good, and we got like we got a lot of, like, Slackers came out in the 90s. That's a great movie. Maybe not a B movie, but it's...
I mean, Biodome came out. That was pretty good.
I saw that in the theater.
Man.
Loved it. Loved that.
The Pest.
You know what? I'm going to try to bring Encino Man to Wealthy Theater. I want to see that on the big screen. But I will never, ever watch The Pest again. I will never watch that.
Dude, I am such an asshole because they have a suggestion box at the Wealthy Theater. Because, folks, the Wealthy Theater, great place.
Yes.
I'm very glad it survived the pandemic. On Tuesdays, they have a film series, which... Is it still the Meanwhile film series?
I don't think it is anymore.
I was wondering that.
Because I don't
see the endorsement.
No, I don't think it's...
Unlike the Wealthy Market, which endorses this podcast. But
thank you, Wealthy Market, for endorsing this podcast.
And thank you, Drake's Party Store.
And Drake's Party Store.
Anyway, so no, they show movies every Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Like yesterday, they just showed The Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
And you can make suggestions. So I've done this twice, and I stopped doing it because I realized not only will it probably never happen, but I'll probably be an asshole. I keep suggesting a Serbian film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, upon reflection, it's like, yeah, it's probably a very bad idea.
That'll make...
That would probably actually get them in trouble.
Yes.
Because apparently people are not into the new sensations.
No,
God, it's such a bad show. God damn it. I'm an awful person.
But like that, a movie like that, or like a movie like The Human Centipede.
Oh, God.
Those are movies that probably wouldn't work.
Yeah,
that well.
It probably wouldn't. Way too extreme, way too gory.
Yeah, just like disturbing. Just
legitimately disturbing.
I think the most disturbing film that I ever showed at a movie night was a suggestion from James, and I'm still mad that I showed it. It was called Visitor Q, and it was a Takashi Miike film, the guy who did Audition.
Yeah.
He makes like 8 movies a year, probably, something like that. But this movie had like necrophilia in it, and it had like spousal abuse, parental abuse, just like so much. It was just a downer. Oh God, it was so... But yeah, the 90s were...
Let's go on to a lighter topic.
Yeah.
The 90s.
The 90s. Ugh. But yeah, like Godzilla came out in the 90s, all these movies. It was just like, I think the problem with B films in the 90s was that people were too aware of themselves, and they were too self-conscious to make films that make very free films. Because in the 80s, you were like, you could make a movie about anything. You had this confidence, like, because we hadn't, no one had ever seen Maximum Overdrive. No one had ever seen a movie where cars like attack people or something. But in the 90s, I feel like everybody just got very self-conscious, and we were like, oh, we don't want to make silly movies. And so they just ended up making terrible movies where it's just... Action movies in the 90s, yes. Big time. I love those movies. But like 90s horror, ugh. 90s sci-fi, what did we have? Like the Lost in Space reboot? Like, man. And then I think the 90s really were like a blow for movies in general, because it took us a long time to get back, especially horror. Like Scream, great movie. It kind of destroyed horror movies for a while, because the people who made horror movies were like, okay, now we have a formula.
Yeah.
Attractive teens.
So let's get this meta film that just...
Yeah. And
by the way, how's the new Scream? Have you seen it?
I have.
Yay or nay?
I was excited because the director was I think it was two directors, and they also made the film Ready or Not, which I thought was incredible. Really great premise, really great story. This was kind of, it was exactly what I expected, which was extremely self-referential, kind of like the new Matrix movie. Did you see that?
Oh, God. I hated that movie.
I did too. I had to turn it off after like the first hour.
Because it seems like every time an action happened, they had to show like a clip from the previous film to justify.
Why?
Like Neo tries to like he throws a punch in the shower, and then they show him punching Agent Smith.
There's literally a moment where the film The Matrix is being projected like on a wall or something.
Like, I get what they were going for, but
I do too.
But it just didn't work, I think.
But there's a point where like meta can only take you so far, and the first Scream movie was the perfect example of how to do meta correctly.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, man, these movies are crazy. Don't go out by yourself. Don't have sex. Don't do drugs, because you get killed. And it was great because of it, but like we're past that. We're so past that. We're decades away from that. We know that horror movies are silly. We know all the rules.
Plus, we're kind of right now we're kind of like in a self-referential age, I guess, of
Yeah,
cinema.
that too.
I mean, I've seen Space Jam: The New Legacy, and ooh boy,
Man.
you thought the first one was a turd.
Well, I'm gonna sound like a boomer for a second, but major studios have no idea what people want to see. Nobody really does know what people want to see, but what they think people want to see is the same movie that they've seen 100 times before. And so this idea of remaking stuff and rebooting stuff, I love the new Halloween. I had a great time, but I want something new. Like, you can't say we ran out of ideas because people are making independent movies like right now that no one's ever heard of and no one has ever thought of that. So like, I think that's lazy. I think it's lazy, and I think it's kind of sad, and there are so many ideas out there, and there's so many movies that could be made and just aren't because they won't make money overseas. You know, they won't make huge money in China, and so nobody gives a shit. But I don't want to see a Fast and Furious movie. Those are kind of B movies too.
I'm waiting for them to finally just have Vin Diesel go to space.
Yeah.
They make a car that can go into fucking space.
That was in the last movie,
To
right?
do that. No, they had like swinging from a pole to another cliff or something. I only reference that because when the whole family meme started coming out, they had one where,
We're
like,
family. We're family.
family.
When you're here, you're family.
Where they had like Vin Diesel in space. It's like, Vin, how can you survive in space with just that car? It's like, 'cause family.
But that's just it, man. It's like, throughout your life, I'm sure you've come up with, like, scenarios, ideas, movie ideas, something you'd like to see.
And I'm still doing that, technically.
Yeah, but everyone has. Like, everyone has, like, a brilliant... Like, I have 6 movie ideas right now that I want to make, but, you know, I don't have the resources, I don't have the money. But I think movies like that, like Scream, the new Scream, or the new Matrix, stuff like that, it's a waste of our time. That's the biggest sin that a movie can do, is waste your time. And I don't know. It's just sad because people, I don't know.
Thankfully, we still got B movies, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm obsessed with them, because like they still give me that same rush. Like I can still turn off my my brain, and I can still see this movie as something that's actually happening, you know. And thank God I can still do that.
Yeah. So, as a fan, observer, and host of B-Movie Euphoria, how would you describe the current B-movie culture? How do you feel about modern B-movies that are coming out in 2020s and I guess the 2010s?
I'm really optimistic, honestly, because, especially recently, because I've seen movies that seem like they came out in the 80s or came out in the 70s, but they are modern. They're like clearly modern. And I guess a good example of that would be the Nicolas Cage movie that came out. It's called Pig. And that movie, simple premise. Guy has pig. Pig is stolen. Guy goes to find pig.
So it's kind of like a B-movie John Wick.
Yes.
Where John Wick got vengeance for people who killed his dog.
Exactly, but this movie is not violent. There is no violence in this movie. There's maybe like some guy, Nicolas Cage gets beat up a little, but it isn't about revenge. The movie is not about
It's about
revenge.
Nicolas Cage finding a pig.
Yes. Well, actually...
Nicolas Cage can find the pig.
I'm gonna find a pig. We're gonna steal.
I stole the Constitution, now I can steal a pig.
We're gonna steal the Farmer's Almanac. I don't. God damn it! Somebody find my fucking pig! He's very understated, but that's an example of, yes, it's kind of going along the lines of John Wick, but it's still an original film. And it's still a movie that it's so outside of the norm that I was just in awe when I was watching. I was just like, there's a whole, there's a scene in a restaurant where Nicolas Cage just basically destroys this chef that he used to know, because he tells him, like, this isn't the food you want to be making. This isn't who you are. And it's this just scene between two men where one man tells another man what he sees inside of him, and the other man, you see his face basically fall apart. You see everything that he's built around him fall apart. You see this beautiful restaurant and, you know, all the money he's making. You see it all fall apart because Nicolas Cage just, like, tells him who he is. And I was like, oh my God. And I cried in the movie theater. I don't cry a lot, but I mean, I cry a good deal. But holy moly. And it just, like, my heart was beating in my chest, and I was just like, this is incredible. And then, we've just had a lot of great movies. I'm going to say Nicolas Cage again. Like, thank you, Nicolas Cage, for continuing to make movies. But there are other films, too, and it's not just that. Like, Ready or Not came out, like, 2 years ago. What an incredible premise. This woman marries into this family, but the family, they're extremely successful because they sacrifice someone, like, every couple of years, and she has to escape this insane rich family, and they're all trying to, like, stab her or, you know, shoot her with a bow and arrow. So, honestly, like, 20, 30 years from now, I imagine, and this is just fantasy, but I imagine some kid, you know, that, you know, spends a lot of time alone, and he starts discovering all the movies that are coming out now, and he starts his own B-movie, like, night, and he's showing movies from, like, 2000.
I've had a similar one, actually.
Yeah?
But basically the kid, because the world's ending right now, as we can tell.
Oh, yeah.
All this doomsday clock shit.
This is the...
And I imagine there's some kid who discovers a vault of B-movies just from every era.
Yes.
And he goes to play them. And then he plugs it in. But then he discovers that there's no electricity. And he then starts saying, it's not fair. It's not fair. And then just for added effect, his fucking glasses break.
Oh, no.
God, that's such a bad rip-off of Twilight Zone. I apologize.
But you know what? Twilight Zone gave us a lot of great things.
Oh, yeah.
It inspired so many people.
The classic one, not the new one by that one guy, I can't remember.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
But you know what? Jordan Peele's a great director. And, like, his films are essentially B-movies, too.
I know, but everyone has some bumps.
Yeah, exactly. But, I'm really excited for Nope.
Nope.
I'm looking forward to Nope.
Great title.
Big
Nope.
time. Did you see the trailer?
No.
It looks...
I'm currently excied for Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Me too.
And the Batman.
I am too.
Because I can't wait for a 3-hour Batman film.
The thing that got me really excited was that the things that Robert Pattinson's been saying, and I think he's an okay actor. He said one thing was like, I never knew that Batman was the world's greatest detective. And so I'm like,
really?
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of one of his nicknames.
Okay.
That's like him saying, you know, I never knew Superman was the Man of Steel.
But you have to admit, throughout the years of Batman movies, that's kind of a little bit been forgotten.
Oh yeah, very true actually.
You know?
Who wants to watch forensics?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like you do in the Nolan films where like he just illegally hacks into everyone's phone.
Yeah, that was screwed up.
Yeah, but don't worry, he destroys it at the end.
Yeah, so it's fine.
So it's fine. It's totally fine.
Oh god. But no, in the
Thanks, Nolan.
And you know, I love The Dark Knight. I thought it was beautiful. But yeah, Batman was a detective. He was like not a hard-boiled detective, but you know.
He was actually.
I guess
very much inspired by that.
Really.
And the original comics, he just straight up killed people.
Oh wow.
probably the most hardcore comic of his that came out from the Silver Age, I think it was called. It's basically when he meets Hugo Strange for the first time.
Whoa.
And he fights the Monster Men. Holy shit. He straight up shoots them. I can just show you pictures on my phone later, but he straight up lynches one of them with his plane.
Oh.
Then he just cuts the rope and lets them drop into an empty field.
Jeez.
And he just says, it's probably better off this way. Which I actually kind of agree. They were mutated and they couldn't be cured, so fuck it, you might as well kill them. It's like Batman now, where he's like, gotta save everyone, my parents, Martha, the guns. Then you see this old comic where he's just blasting people and lynching them. Like, it's better off this way.
I mean, I'll still watch Batman Forever. I'll still watch Batman and Robin. I know they're bad, but they're kind of fun.
Great lines in those films too, you know. This is why Superman acts alone. Like, oh, fuck you.
Oh god, and the nipples too. Like, who thought the nipples were a good idea?
Everyone complains about that. I'm more complaining about the bat skates.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the fact that he has a credit card that says forever on it. No expiration date. How can you not know his identity if he has a fucking credit card that he pays for women with, apparently?
Oh, man. But you know what? Joel Schumacher made some great movies.
Yes, he did. Falling Down,
Lost Boys.
Yep.
He was a great director. It's just, but again, the 90s.
Yeah, the 90s, yeah.
The 90s.
90s.
I think if getting out of the 90s, when the 2000s were just starting and everything, I was kind of bummed because of all the 90s movies. But then I think a movie that made me think everything's going to be okay and movies might get back to normal was 28 Days Later. I'm not, like, I went to see that movie in the theater like 8 times.
Honestly, did not expect that.
Really?
No, I did not.
Like, obviously it's a, zombie movie, but...
Oh, wait. Oh, fuck, I was thinking of like a romantic comedy called that.
Oh, you mean the Sandra Bullock 28 Days.
Yeah, god damn it. Wow, okay, never mind.
Yeah, you know what? That really got me out of my 90s funk was 28 Days starring Sandra Bullock. No, but...
Wow.
I
know this is our second time meeting each other, but wow, I really underestimated you guys.
Hey, I'm a huge Sandra Bow fan. Murder by Numbers, Miss Congeniality. Oh god, no.
Okay, so
Sorry.
28 Days Later, the actual good zombie film.
Yes, that made me, and like Shaun of the Dead.
Yep.
And stuff like that. Movies, when we were getting into the 2000s and like leaving, oh god, the 90s away, we've started to build back up again, and we've started to like care about people having a good time again. And yeah, there's still a lot of self-referential stuff. Yes, there are reboots and remakes and Cobra Kai's and stuff like that, which I actually like a little bit, and also hate at the same time.
I get that feeling a lot these days. I mean, it's the same way I am with this podcast and my writing career and music career now. I love it, I also hate it.
Yeah.
What can you do?
But if you can pull some joy out of it, then it's worthwhile, I think.
Well, the thing is, I think it's my art that I love and hate, but it's really myself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's good, though. I think to be a healthy, mentally stable human being, you have to equally love and hate yourself in the same amount.
I mean, I could use some more love. But
Yeah,
I understand where you're going.
No, I understand where you're going to. But anyway, so yeah, it's been building up. And we get movies like Cabin in the Woods, which is basically...
Excellent, yes.
It's kind of another Scream movie, because it's taking...
And it makes sense, too. I mean...
It really does.
Yeah, why wouldn't the government want to take control of the paranormal?
Yeah, if we could, we would.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see them unleashing Jason and Michael Myers and even Freddy Krueger into Ukraine to fight the Russians.
Yeah, just
they totally would.
Oh my God, there'd be an army of Jasons.
Yeah, totally.
Just
Freddy Krueger, he can enter your fucking dreams.
Oh my God.
It's like, wow, we thought we had some good shit with MK Ultra, but now Freddy Krueger kill you in your dreams.
All right, Putin, time to go to hell. I don't know.
Fucking Joe Biden gets an MPEG as the Grudge Girl.
God.
Oh wait, that's Japan, not China. God damn it.
Oh, or I do want to see the girl from The Ring, like, I don't know, in some sort of action film where she's using her, walking through TV powers to, I don't know.
Oh God.
Do political assassinations or something like that. Because TVs are everywhere. She could climb out of anything.
True.
But yes, movies are in a good place right now, I think. Like, there's tons of reboots and remakes and everything, whatever. But we're still getting... Well, that's hard to say, because the pandemic kind of stopped things, too.
Yeah, it did.
And I think we were on a good uptick, and then, the world stopped. And then...
Yeah, thanks, China.
But really, it's all of our own hubris. Like, it could have just been some virus that petered out because people actually listened and, stayed inside. And,
yeah.
But no,
it could have been a perfect time to watch B movies, but no.
Oh, it was.
No, people want to go out because of their freedom.
Dude, I stayed inside for months and watched movies. It was kind of like the pandemic hit me differently than it hit everyone else, because everyone else was like, we can't go out anymore. We can't go to the bar. We can't I can't have parties anymore. To me, I was like, this is my jam. This is great. I caught up on so many films that I've been wanting to watch, and obviously, it's terrible. We've lost so many people, and I've lost people too during the pandemic, but it was like, did we need this? Did we need this thing to restart us? Maybe we did.
They did, my friend. They call it the Great Reset.
That's what it is. It's like turning it on and off again and blowing out the cartridge. Well,
the final variant is communism.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I embrace it.
I am a communist, so I am cool with it.
Yeah, I am so cool with sharing my anything, like
your B movies.
Yeah.
Which you do at B-Movie Euphoria, last Sunday of every month.
That's right. Oh, and here's a kind of exclusive. I may this is a possibility. Hopefully, I might be hosting a couple movies at Wealthy. Maybe.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yes. So this is a in the works kind of thing. I went to see Soylent Green there. I think it was
Oh, I was there too.
Oh, you were? Awesome.
Yeah.
So, but one of the guys that worked there was like, hey, we know about your B-movie thing. Are you interested in doing anything here? I'm like, yeah.
Actually, I'm seeing another B-movie next week, actually, Black Dynamite.
Oh, yes. We talked about that. Oh, my God. That's incredible.
Yeah, I haven't seen it until next week.
I'm not going to ruin it. It's awesome.
I know.
It's great.
What really made me want to see is the trailer, where it's like, Black Dynamite's like, yeah, I fight drugs in the community. Then they clip order, but Black Dynamite, I sell drugs in the community.
But that's an example of like a self-referential movie.
Yeah, that done right.
Done 100% right, because I think a lot of what he's parroting is like Rudy Ray Moore films.
Yeah.
And
Dolomite.
Yeah, Dolomite,
Black Dynamite.
Yep, Coffee. That was a big one for me. And Foxy Brown.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I love those movies so much. Oh, one of my favorite movies, done by the same director, Jack Hill, Switchblade Sisters. One of my favorite movies of all time.
The titles themselves.
That one, it like takes place in an alternate universe almost. Like kind of like
what B movie does not take place in an alternate universe? If you really think about it,
that's a very good point.
How awesome would our reality be if Livewire was actually real?
Oh my god, I don't know. I'd stop drinking water in general.
Okay, it'd actually be pretty scary. On the other hand, it's a lot more interesting.
Yeah,
than shit is now. I mean, we're afraid of catching a virus that basically makes you cough to death.
Yes.
But if we lived in the Livewire world, we'd be afraid of drinking something that would make us explode.
Yeah, so there's give and take.
Which sounds cooler. Which sounds like a cooler way to die.
Yeah, I'd rather
on a ventilator in a hospital, or you're exploding at the mall.
Yeah. You either you're coughing or
you're exploding.
You explode a city block.
Your last thought is like, oh god, I'm dying. But at least this is cool.
Yeah, because what an awesome way to go. Like, R.I.P. all those guys from Livewire, but man, they had an exit. What an exit! Oh my god! Wow.
Oh jeez.
But yeah, I'm enthusiastic because I've just seen a lot of really great films recently that have come out, and so I feel good about the state of movies, but I'm also worried because, everything's still kind of stilted now because, not as many movies are being put out, obviously, which I think is kind of a good thing because a glut...
Quality or quantity.
Exactly. A glut of anything is bad. But yeah, I think the pandemic has slowed us down, made us think about what we really want to see, and kind of, everybody's watching stuff in streaming now because that's our new thing, and that's the easy thing we can do. And so people are definitely watching kind of TV more than movies now, and TV is kind of becoming the medium of where we get our entertainment, where we get our, everything. And so movies are kind of going by the wayside, which to me, this seems like the perfect time to start making B-movies like the norm. And
there is some push for that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you see it on the streaming services, the big ones, and I'll see how I'm working this question into this one.
Okay.
Troma even has their own streaming service.
Yep. I've dabbled into that a little bit.
By the way, Lloyd Kaufman and Troma, yay or nay?
I grew up with, I rented like every Troma movie there was, and I love Toxic Avenger. Troma produced or distributed a lot of films too, like Stendhal Syndrome, which not a great movie, but still. But no, I like Troma. I think they have some. One of the founders, Michael Hertz, super conservative guy, super like Trumper dude.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
God damn it!
It sucks. But that's why he's the guy that no one talks about.
Well, no one ever sees.
Yeah, exactly. Lloyd is great. Lloyd is, the consummate salesman, constantly inserting himself into every Troma DVD and talking about 12 other DVDs that you can buy. And but I think Troma really inspired me and definitely made me want to see more of them. And they're great. They're like, he's kind of like Roger Corman, but with VD,
That's a great description. Oh.
So I love them, but also they're not movies that I revisit very often because they're kind of a one and done. Like, I'll give a good example. Surf Nazis Must Die. Oh, great Troma movie. Fantastic Troma movie.
I got it, actually. I got to rewatch it because I recently repurchased it.
That's a wonderful movie. But I don't think Lloyd or any of them were involved. That was an example of them distributing this movie and it being amazing. And
I'm standing this podcast again, but Jeff Burks and Lucas Magnum's, Make Your Own Damn Podcast.
Yeah.
The format of it is that they review trauma films, honestly, and they do like in-house, as in Lloyd Kaufman, Trauma, and then ones they distribute themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, then that's kind of how their format goes.
Yeah.
And they make it very distinct.
So I guess that's what I'm saying, is that I think I loved trauma movies, but I think like I might have like, moved beyond them at this point. And I think at this point I don't know if I could go back to them. I
kind of understand because, again, thanks to the podcast I just mentioned, I actually have two of my favorite ones that I got into through that podcast. And one other that they recommended, but I hated it, and one I just found. The two ones I recommend are Blood-Sucking Freaks.
Okay, yeah.
Love
That's
that
great.
one. And Combat Shock.
That one I haven't seen, but I've heard.
Oh, it's a really fucking depressing film.
Yeah.
It's grimy and depressing. That's why I like it. But then there's two others I watched from them that I fucking hated.
Which ones?
Six Sock Muppet Monsters from Outer Space. No, I should like the concept, but it was just like way too dark because it takes place in space.
Oh.
I
thought you meant like tonally dark, not.
No, like actually dark. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I can't make out what any of these sock puppets are actually doing.
But that's the thing. You can have.
I'm sure there's someone be like, just change the brightness on your TV. It's like, oh, fuck you. I shouldn't have to do that.
No, you should not. But that's the thing with drama. High concept,
Well,
bad execution.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, this is one they distributed.
Yeah.
And literally, it's all sock puppets. I should love it, but I disliked it. And this other one, which is actually worse, called The Middle Finger.
Oh.
It takes place in Ireland, and it's about this guy who gets powers, and he basically becomes a giant middle finger.
Wow.
And it sucks. It was just the worst acting, the worst plot.
Yeah.
It was bad. I'm like, oh god, why would Trauma put this shit out? I understand Six Sock Muppets, but this? So I understand what you mean. They put out classics, and they put out... Ugh.
But, so, Trauma's lovely. It's just like, if I have a choice between, watching a Trauma movie or watching a billion other movies, I'd probably pick the others.
All right.
But I did love them for when they were in that point of my life when they mattered. Yeah. And they do matter. I think they matter a great deal because they show that independent movies can, anyone can make a movie, basically. And they can be good and they can be terrible. Like, they can be Toxic Avenger and they can be The Middle Finger. But it's all about, and this is something that I keep saying, I've constantly been saying, a movie can be the lowest budget in the world, it can be the dumbest premise, it can have the worst actors, but if it has heart, that's what I look for in any movie. Heart, like a beating heart in the movie that you can sense and you can feel it, and you can feel that there was inspiration behind it, and there was like somebody who loved this idea and made this movie because he was in love with the idea, in love with movies, and made it because he had to, or they had to, or she had to, and just made this movie, and we all get to get it, and that's how we get movies like Miami Connection, that's how we get The Room, that's how we get Livewire, because someone believed in this idea, and they didn't let anything stop them from making it. No matter how stupid it sounded, they just made it. And now we have these gifts, you know?
Yeah. All right, final question.
Okay.
Final question, Nick.
I'm ready.
You could go into as much detail as you want.
All right.
We got all night. Actually, I'm really glad that no one else has come in here. Because currently, folks, we're in the history room of the East Grand Rapids Library.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's not separated off these two sections, so people can hear us.
Yes.
And thankfully, the guy that was in here left like within 5 minutes.
Really nice guy.
And before we recorded, you were telling us a story about a friend who got so many dick piercings that he can't have sex right now, apparently. And this guy was like right over there talking about here, yeah, he's like, God, these dick piercings, he can't get hard. I'm like, oh God, no, please.
Well, no, he can. He just shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, final question. Go as much detail as you want.
Got it.
Top 5 B movies you would recommend to anyone wanting to get into B movies.
Wow. Okay, I might need my phone for this because I have a couple lists on here. Okay, so I made a few lists because, like I said, maybe I might be hosting.
Oh, do you have an official website, or have you gotten stuff published on articles? On the
No,
subject?
not really. Like I had a website for a while through WordPress, but I kind of let that expire.
Yeah.
But mostly, most of my writing and most of my, I do videos.
Okay.
So I have a YouTube channel, B-Movie Euphoria, at YouTube, or how you do it.
We'll link all that in the show notes.
Yeah, and I love doing reviews. I haven't done one in a while, for about a month, but I have a lot of reviews up there. But here, you said 5 movies that I would recommend.
5.
Okay.
Hit you with that hard question at the very end.
I would say number 1, Phantasm.
I have heard of that series, Phantasm.
So I wouldn't recommend the whole series, but I would recommend the first film because it's exactly what I was talking about. It's one person that had an idea and executed it, and it's filled with just that confidence, and it's weird. It's something that it's a horror film, but what happens in the movie is so strange and so dreamlike that you'll never forget it. Like in the movie, there's a tall man that comes from, I don't know, but he has a silver ball that goes and floats and kills people and drills into their skull and shoots their blood out of the other side. It's insane. It's wild. But it's beautiful. And then there are these weird moments where there's 2 characters just sitting on a porch and they're just playing a guitar and they sing like a song. And it doesn't belong, but it does. Because the whole movie, a great movie, is just this collection of weird moments that if they don't connect, it doesn't work. But if they do, and we don't know how, we don't know why movies work, but they just do. But yeah, that's a good... As far as horror, that's, for me, B horror, that is a perfect entry point. And I think it has so much weirdness in it, so much stuff where you'll just be like, what is going on? And, so that would be my first choice for that. I kind of want to do different genres for every one of them. Because I'm going to try this. Okay. My next one would probably have to be, Chopping Mall. I would say Chopping Mall.
Chopping Mall.
God, that's just another horror movie. Incredible, stupid premise. Takes place in a mall. Robots killing people. Security robots killing people. Bad acting. Bad special effects. Very over the top. Paul Bartella's in it, as well as Mary Warnoff. Just a beautiful, wonderful, good time movie. You get to see a woman's head explode, completely bloodless for some reason.
Not like in
Scanners.
yeah, Scanners classic.
Which leads me to my next movie, Scanners. I love David Cronenberg. I discovered David Cronenberg. I was on a road trip with my brother, and I had just moved out of my mom's house, and we were just driving around, and with him and his girlfriend at the time, and we ended up back at her parents' house, and it was Christmas. It was like Christmas night, and on IFC they were playing something called Christmas with Cronenberg. So I watched like all of the Cronenberg movies in one night, and Scanners is just like pure joy. It's uncomfortable. It makes you itch. It makes you like shift in your seat. It's scary. It also has bad acting. It has terrifying visuals. It's everything I love. It's wonderful. Yeah. Okay, 3. Let's go. 3 would have to be Foxy Brown.
Wait, actually, that would be 4, because
Dang it.
you had Phantasm, had Shopping Mall, then Scanners. Now we're up to number 4.
Dang it. Okay. I might take one away. Okay. No. So Foxy Brown, incredible Pam Grier performance. Foxy Brown and Coffee are essentially the same film. It's a woman seeking revenge because something bad happened to her, and she has to get into bad situations. And it's just great. It's such a drive-in movie. As soon as you turn it on, you feel like you just pulled up to a drive-in, and you put that thing on your window, and it's just wonderful. And boobs, obviously, boobs are very important to me. And Pam Grier, oh my God, one of the greatest actors of the 70s. Underrated. But she was brought back, and say what you will about Quentin Tarantino.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
Tell him, actually, I haven't seen Foxy Brown, Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, Jackie Brown. So, Foxy Brown.
Oh, God damn it. I love it when that happens on this podcast where I just completely fuck up something.
No, you're good.
No, this happens a lot more often than you think.
But yeah, that was, I love that because I'm a big reader too. I read a lot of Elmore Leonard. Mm-hmm. And Jackie Brown was based on Rum Punch by Elmore Leonard, so I was super excited.
God damn it, I was going to make a Quentin Tarantino joke about Foxy Brown. I was about to say, there are a lot of feet shots in Foxy Brown.
I'm pretty sure there are in Jackie Brown.
I know. I'm probably figuring that.
Bridget Fonda's feet, yes, there are. There definitely are.
Quentin Tarantino, he loves feet.
He loves them feet. Loves those shrimps down there. But yeah, God dang it, we're at number 5 already? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, man. Make it count. You're on the big. You're on hashtag powerful GSP.
Okay.
Giving the B movies that will get a new generation of people into it.
Man, there's so many. I'm gonna list off all these movies, and then I'll tell you what my number 5 is. But I'm gonna list off all the movies that are on this list.
Actually, this fits in with a lot of lists. They'll do like a top 5, and then before we get to number 5, here's some honorable mentions.
Yes. Here are all my honorable mentions. Battle Royale. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Yes. I would see that any day of the week. I'd see it 100 times a month. It's amazing.
How about The Hunger Games?
Hunger Games is basically, remaking it. Like, what's her name? Stephanie Meyer saw that movie and was like, hey, I could make that.
I can make it for kids.
Yeah. And I kind of enjoyed the first movie, but then I was like, I don't need to see anymore. Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, hell yes.
I would 100% suggest that to anyone. I realize it's bad. I know that they're...
That's one good thing about that movie. We finally figured out what their last names were.
Yeah.
Mario.
Mario.
Luigi Mario.
But my friend Josh Spaniga, who I did the B-Movie podcast with, he's shown me a lot of movies too. Like, I just love it when people show me movies. And I think I had seen Super Mario Brothers and I had dismissed it years and years and years ago. He had a movie night at his house and we watched Super Mario Brothers and I was like, this movie is incredible.
I know, it has one of the best lines ever in cinema, too.
Which
Look,
one?
a monkey.
Oh, man.
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah. I loved...
Acting legend.
Oh, he was on some cocaine. Okay, my phone's about to die, but let's... some more. Breakin'.
I heard that one.
You could pair that with Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. Both fantastic, beautiful dance movies. Lost Highway, David Lynch. I would have to suggest it just because that movie scared the hell out of me, and that was one of the high points of the 90s was that David Lynch was still making movies.
Yeah, he was into transcendental meditation.
Yeah, which is great. I'm glad he's into that. I'm really glad that he made Twin Peaks come back because oh my god, that was amazing. Okay, here's another one. For kids, if kids want to get into B movies, Return to Oz. I would 100%, if you want to get your kids into movies that will probably stay with them for the rest of their life and make them seek out weird movies, then I would say Return to Oz. Because it's a Wizard of Oz movie, but it is terrifying, and it is wild, and it is unlike any other kids movie I've ever seen. I love that movie. And I kind of hope maybe I can bring that to the wealthy. I don't know if they'll show it. I hope so. River's Edge. River's Edge, it's a very specifically good movie because Keanu Reeves, Crispin Glover, what's that one actor? Anyway, he's playing Grandpa Munster in the new Munsters movie that's coming out. But it's an incredible movie where all of the actors are in one movie, and then Crispin Glover is in a different movie, like his own film.
Oh, okay.
And so it's amazing. And it's basically about a group of 90s kids that find out one of their friends killed another one of their friends, and they just don't say anything about it because they don't want him to get in trouble. That's the premise. But Dennis Hopper's in that too. But it's just really weird, really disturbing, and really funny, which it shouldn't be, but it's very funny. Modern movies, I would say like Turbo Kid. Love Turbo Kid. I love Ready or Not. Really great. Night of the Comet, another great 80s movie with Mary Warrenov. As far as Rudy Ray Moore movies, Petey Wheatstraw, The Devil's Son-in-Law. Oh, man. Basically any Rudy Ray Moore movie.
Dolomite, the original, The Human Tornado, which
Yep.
features Dolomite rolling down a cliff, but then appearing in his pimp suit perfectly afterwards.
Exactly. That dude knew what he was doing. That dude was a genius.
Yeah, dude. He was also in ICP's films.
Oh, yeah,
Hustlers.
yes. Big City Rustlers or something.
Big Money Hustlers.
Yeah.
Big City Rustlers was the prequel.
Oh, yeah. It took place in the West, right?
Yeah.
Was he in that one, too?
I don't think so. I think he was dead by then.
Oh, man.
I mean, he was nearly dead in Big Money Hustlers, too.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so They Live, I think, is just... Yeah. You need to see that movie.
Funny thing about that is I didn't see it until, I don't know, they showed it at the Wealthy Theater a couple years back for Halloween.
Yeah.
But I remember the scene where they get into the fight, put on the glasses.
Yeah.
God, no. I know that because of South Park where they had Timmy and Jimmy fighting. Cripple fight.
Yeah, do the exact same.
Yeah, and use the same line. You dirty son of a bitch.
Dirty. I just love it when they're even too beat up to even get up and they're still punching each other.
I know. I did. No, when I first saw They Live, I saw that scene. And I'm like, holy shit! I remember that South Park episode.
That was. Oh my god! I have so many here.
Cripple fight.
Oh, here's a good movie. Great movie, underrated. Bill Murray in Quick Change. I really recommend Quick Change. I kind of want to show that at Wealthy too. It's Bill Murray dressed as a clown robbing a bank. It is awesome. It is awesome. And
was this Bill Murray back when he was
good,
so goofy?
When he was still goofy, when he was still great.
But before, like, I like him now. But where he's like more serious, existential. Wes Anderson.
This is like
actor.
This was like before Groundhog Day, so it's still in the good area.
When he was like really goofy. And
yes.
All that. Before he's like, I want to be more serious now.
And he's a little bit serious in Quick Change, but the ensemble, like it's Randy Quaid and Gina Davis and Tony Shalhoub is in it for a second, which is crazy. And it's just a wonderful movie. I don't understand why people don't talk about it in the same light that they talk about Groundhog Day, just because it's so good. And I love it. Maybe it's, 20/20 vision or me.
That's a big debate.
Yeah. But okay, I'm gonna rapid fire shoot some because I got a couple to get over, and then I'll get to
number 5.
Number 5. Fritz the Cat.
Yes.
Amazing. Death Race 2000. Rock and Roll High School.
Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah.
Witchboard I mentioned before. Hot Shots. Sorry, I love it. One of the great movies of the 90s.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Own it, yeah, Ed Wood.
Wonderful movie. And as far as kung fu movies, Snake and the Eagle's Shadow, The Drunken Master, anything with Jackie Chan, anything with Jet Li.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist got me into kung fu movies.
Can't imagine why they haven't made Kung Pao 2 yet.
No, that movie rocked me.
It will never come out. I'm sorry, folks.
It won't. I think that guy's doing, he also did the Thumb movies. Do you remember the Thumb movies?
Yes.
Like Thumb Wars and The Thumb Father and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't imagine why he hasn't made more movies. with such a great cinematography.
But, it's neither here nor there. He made an incredible movie with Kung Pao, and he almost did what Tarantino did, which was, make people want to go back and watch those movies again. And that's a great thing. And also, I was pissing myself watching that movie because it's so funny and it's so well done. And it's, you watch it now, it's just him making a bunch of really silly voices and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he punches a hole through somebody. Man, that piece of you is just sitting over there. Okay. And now I might have forgotten what my final was. Let's see. I guess I'm going to go back to, for my number 1, I would say Eating Raoul.
All right.
Just because it's a very simple premise. It's a very simple, it's a good entry point because it's very funny. It never stops being funny, but it's also very dark.
All right.
But I would 100% recommend that just because it's very close to me. And it's very something that just makes me die laughing every time, and it's very John Waters, but it's not. But yeah, I guess that's that would be.
All right, from 1 to 5, Eating Raoul.
Yep.
I mispronounced it.
Eating Raoul, yeah.
Number 1. Mm-hmm. Phantasm, number 2.
Yes.
Chopping Mall.
Yep.
Yeah. Jackie Brown.
Foxy Brown.
No, wait, I mixed up the order. Scanners, number 4.
Right.
And then Foxy Brown, number 5.
But Super Mario Brothers was in there somewhere, too.
Honorable mention.
Yes, honorable mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's time we end this podcast.
It's been great, though. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nick Villaire, for taking the time to come talk to me today.
I really appreciate it, and I'm so glad that you came. I hope you will come to every subsequent movie night. I know...
I will. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make this month.
Fair.
Because I am going to New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
Yes!
Which was going to be fun enough, but I also learned that my editor, Zach Elmblad, and a friend are also going to be there.
Yeah!
Did not know that. So we're going to have a fun time.
That's awesome.
We're probably going to podcast, and we have to hash out the details, but I'm pretty sure we're going to try to reenact the scene from Easy Rider when we're in New Orleans.
Please, not the end of Easy Rider.
No. That's why I said we got to hash out the details, because I want to do that, but I don't want to get killed by rednecks.
And, okay, so there might have been a lot of movies that I didn't mention that I actually love, but,
There's so many.
That's the thing.
If people want to see it, they should attend B-Movie Euphoria.
Exactly. B-Movie Euphoria.
And when can they do that?
The last Sunday of every month at 8 p.m. and it's at Speciation Cellars, which is on it's 928 Wealthy Southeast. It's behind a building, so some people have difficulty finding it.
Yeah.
But it's a great place. Like, I love that place.
Yeah, and for people who are trying to dox me, here's some more motivation to attend B-Movie Euphoria. It's like less than 5 minutes away from my house.
Nice.
It's closer to my house than Wealthy Market, who are sponsoring this episode is.
Thank you, Wealthy Market, for sponsoring.
Yeah. As always, thank you, Drake Party Store in Kalamazoo. Anyway, so all right, Roland Emmerich, honestly, thank you for the great ad, so I don't have to constantly repeat everything at the end of the episodes of where you can find this podcast. But hey, okay, B-Movie Euphoria, last Sunday of every month.
Speciation Cellars.
Yeah, where else can they find you online?
So you can find me on Facebook. I have B-Movie Euphoria is on Facebook. I have a YouTube page. If you want to go back and watch any of those videos, there's just, if you're looking for a recommendation, if you're looking for a movie to watch, if you're just looking to watch me talk about a movie, then you can go to B-Movie Euphoria on YouTube. Where else? I think that's it. You can see me on stage. Sometimes I do exotic dancing.
God, are you part of that burlesque company? Happy Time Burlesque, I think they're called.
I was never part of that. I was part of...
They're the big ones I always hear about.
They stopped doing their thing.
Really?
Yeah. I think they split up because I think I'm not going to go into that, but...
Yeah, let's not get into something that'll actually get me into trouble.
Yeah, but I do a lot of B-movie references in my dancing, too, so if anybody's into that, who knows. But I'm so glad that I got to talk about my favorite thing on Earth with you.
Yeah, man.
It's been a joy.
Glad I got to talk with you. And I'm glad that you, dear listener, have listened to another episode of the Garret Schuelke podcast. And you can look up B-Movie Euphoria and everything related to Nick Villaire in the show notes. And that's the end of the show. Thanks for listening. Here is the outro song.